think we're good to go whenever you guys are. All right, I'll count down from 3 then. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, have fun.
All right, so this is the all stages category, so we're going to be beating all the bosses and then going to beat Sigma. We're going to be using both X and Zero in this run. So we're going to start out with X. We'll have plenty of time to explain Zero later. So do one of you guys want to talk about X?
Yeah, I guess I'll go a little bit into movement. This game is super, super different from like every other Mega Man X game. There's like 10 different types of dashes in this game. So you've got your normal dash jump, which you're going to do a lot. In the PS1 X games, normally when you start a dash, there's like a starting lag on it. So if you crouch and then do the dash on the ground, you don't get that starting lag and you're just instantly at full speed. So you can chain dash jumps into those. You've got your saber, your saber cancels your momentum, so you can saber climb like that. It's super cool. And X movement is really fluid. Zero's going to be slightly similar, but Zero's saber stinks, so you can't do the momentum cancels.
All right, so this is the intro stage. There's a boss coming up who we're going to need to beat, and then we're going to say hi to Hymax as well. Hymax is intended to be a fight that you're supposed to lose, so during this fight I'm going to be taking a lot of damage in order to make that go as quick as possible at the end.
So what he's going to want to do is he's going to want to ideally hit the body part 24 times, and then hit the ball part once. But if he gets low on health, he may just have to hit the ball twice.
Hopefully that won't happen.
We'll see. He's going to
Right,
not safe strats at all.
This is the good pattern.
There's a lot of health management in this part. And yes, you can die in this part, but not on the next part.
And then I guess just to clarify, since it's a little bit ambiguous with X5 and X6, this is on normal difficulty, which is fairly hard, people would consider, so Orsa needs to be kind of careful.
Yeah.
It's a super trick-heavy run. Early on, there's not too much except for maybe the saber climbs, but there's a lot of glitches you can do in this game.
Okay, so after this fight, Hymax is going to show up, and since I'm such low health, as soon as he runs into me or throws a ball at me, I'm going to reach 1 HP, and then that'll end the intro stage.
And then this game also uses IGT as its main timing method, so version differences are kind of irrelevant. But you'll also notice on a couple boss fights, like when Orsa gets hit by a Hymax here, he's going to have to walk back into place. If you're only going by IGT, by Max.
Yep. Hymax goes by Max, but we'll see him later.
Yeah, if you're only going by IGT, you can just dash into him on the right side, and then Mega Man gets to walk for like an hour over to the left.
Yep. And you get to skip the cutscenes too by pressing start.
Yep.
You're a Katamari guy.
All right, so we're actually going to be starting out with Rainy Turtleoid, but we're not going to be going to the boss in this stage. At least not the usual boss. Do one of you guys want to talk about Altaries and stuff?
Yeah, so basically every stage, there are 2 exits for it. There is the intended exit where you go fight the Maverick, and there's also the alternate exit where at first you'll fight Zero, Nightmare Zero, then you'll fight Hymax, and then after that you'll fight Dynamo. The first fight, if you kill Zero, you unlock Zero, because Zero is not a playable character for Orsa right now. Then, if you fight Hymax and kill Hymax, you'll unlock the gate stages, which are like the final Sigma stages.
Yep. Every stage has an alt area. Some of them are faster than others. Turtleoid is not the fastest to be getting Zero from, but there are parts in the alt area that I'm going to be wanting to collect for later.
Like I just mentioned with Hymax, though, unlocking the final gate stages, that's why this is all stages, because in any percent you just do 2 stages, then go straight there.
And in this stage, he wants to kill every single one of those blue robots. There's going to be 4 in each segment, and he needs to destroy the generator right after. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it won't let him cross. Yep. So whenever that rain appears, that's what he's doing every time. If he skips one, he has to go back and get it.
And there's a pretty cool pillar jump he can do here that was discovered by Chile. Nice.
Oh, nice. Yep. That's a scary strat to do. But.
Yep. The rain can be scary because you're consistently taking damage slowly throughout this section, so you want to make sure you're going quick so you don't die.
Did you mention Nightmare's craft?
I didn't craft.
No, I did not. Go ahead.
So those little like squid octopus looking dudes, they're dropping blue balls. When you pick up the blue balls, it'll give you 8 nightmare souls. And basically how parts work in this game is equipping parts, which will be like they'll increase your dash speed, increase your damage with certain weapons. You need to have a certain rank to be able to equip them. For beating a boss, you'll get 200 nightmare souls, and Orsa needs to beat 2 stages and then get 100 nightmare souls from the nightmares. So he's going to have to pick up 12 and a half of the nightmare doohickeys.
They each drop a small soul, which will give you 8, and slowly over time it depreciates into a smaller soul, which will give you 4, and then they reform after that if you take too long.
And those little guys that are saying help, he's actually collecting specific ones because those are the parts he needs.
Yeah, the one he just got in this area, he got 2 of them. One of them was Saber Plus, which will increase the damage of Zero's Saber.
Changing controls on there.
And the other is Hyper Dash.
Yeah. X controls slightly differently than Zero, so I use different control setups for both of them. Okay, so here's Nightmare Zero. There's a fun exploit with this boss where if you hit him with a saber, he's intended to teleport, but you can mitigate that just by slashing him in the air instead of on the ground.
He still teleports
He
on
still
his own
teleports
times.
at random, yeah. But
Ooh! That's my favorite scream.
I love you, Crack. All right, so that unlocks Zero. So now we'll be using Zero for most of the Maverick stages. X will be back a little bit later, but we'll be using Zero for the next little while. Okay, so next we'll be going to Sheldon, Shield Sheldon. Why are we going to Shield Sheldon, Plum?
We're going to Shield Sheldon because we're going to get a weapon that is a shield, but it's also the best defensive weapon in the entire game because it's just like this little...
No, it's just too good.
It's
Too good.
It's an oval that floats in front of Zero for no reason, and every time your saber is in it, every unique frame of your saber's animation will deal damage.
Yes. So it makes boss fights completely trivial. Most of them, anyway. There's a couple that are still tough, but...
So you'll see there is a technique in X4 and X5 called saber dash canceling, where when you swing your saber, you cancel it with a dash, then you cancel the dash with the saber, and any boss will typically not get invincibility frames from the first 2 saber slashes. So you'll alternate dash and slash to kill them very quickly. Sheldon is going to be the only time you see that in this run.
He's going to do a manipulation here where he waits out the laser. That way, the next set of lasers in the room here, he actually, they're on a specific timer once he gets near them. So he kind of waited that one out just to get the next lasers.
Yeah, the laser spawns aren't global. They only spawn when you get close to them. So you can sort of abuse that to get a better cycle.
And yeah, the SDC that we were talking about, it's only used here.
Yeah, you
And
can use
it's-
it on other bosses, but it's slower everywhere
It's a little
else.
slower, yeah. It's more commonly found in X4 and 5, but in X6 there's actually something better than the SDC.
The guard shell.
The guard shell.
Yeah. What is that?
It's an oval.
It's a hat sometimes.
So that's saber dash canceling. If that seemed fast, that's really slow compared to guard shell.
Sheldon's one of the slower Mavericks in the game, so...
And you
buckle
can't do
up.
that on every boss, otherwise the game would be obviously too easy.
Yep.
Although if you want the game to be too easy, there's a couple other interesting glitches.
The game is actually very, very difficult casual. A lot of people have the same experience where they can't figure out where to go or what to do or how to beat a certain boss. But once you know even the basic tricks to this run, then it becomes a whole lot easier. You get to abuse a lot of things that were kind of broken in a way.
And the next stage Orsa is going to do is one of the main reasons why it's done is it's short. Because Orsa's 200 Nightmare Souls, he's going to basically be 200 Nightmare Souls off of the first rank where you can equip parts after this. So he's just going to beat this, and then his dash will be double speed with Hyper Dash.
This
Unfortunately...
has the best song, obviously.
Yeah, this is...
The final countdown.
This one's so good. The only bad part about doing the stage early is it makes the boss fight pretty difficult. Without Maginian's weakness, he can be kind of a jerk. So there is a chance I might die here, but I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, and there is a different route that a lot of the Japanese runners, like Fujiyama, who's absolutely based, that does Turtleoid right now instead of Maginian,
Yeah.
and that route owns.
So here's the guard shell. I'm using it to take nightmares out fast, but I'll also be using it on these sort of cable bosses that are coming up, and you'll be able to see just how strong it is.
And the reason why Orisa has to jump slash is, like I said, it only makes your saber deal damage on each unique frame of it. So when the saber just sticks on the final frame of the jump slash, Orisa needs to start a new jump slash animation.
The guard shell does actually reflect some projectiles as well.
Yeah, that's what it's intended to do, but it also does a multitude of other things.
There's a lot of things that are intended in this game, and yeah, you'll see otherwise.
So that should be, yep,
He's got
300.
He needs 300 before he gets to the door, so
Yep.
that when he beats the boss, he'll get 500.
How to unlock a part slot.
Otherwise, the next stage will be quite a way slower.
So this is the Water Flea Infinity Maginian.
Yes. So you can't actually use guard shell on this guy because after he takes a certain amount of damage, he'll fly back. So I'm going to be using the Z-Buster instead.
The annoying thing about this boss, though, is since he likes to hover around, Z-Buster you can only use while you're standing on the ground.
Yeah.
And then there's also...
The closer he is, the more damage the Buster does. So that's why he goes up close to him instead of just going far away and shooting.
That's not actually how Z-Buster works. Z-Buster's weird. It makes absolutely
Well, if
no
you're like
sense.
in its hitbox, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Okay, so that's good. That was good.
Nice. That was pretty good RNG there.
Yeah. I got a couple... If he hovers in the air like that, that's bad. You want him to come down as much as possible.
And you did see one cool hit Orisa did where Infinity Maginian was slightly too high for the Z-Buster, so he used the close range first two slashes to not hit him, then the extended hitbox on the third slash hit him, and third slash does way more damage than the first two.
It causes a lot of lag, especially if the enemy's still stuck inside of it. So he tries not to do that too often.
And there's also a glitch right here. So Orisa only has the rank to equip one part, but by equipping and unequipping a part on the same frame, he's going to be able to equip two parts on the same slot. So right now he has Saber Plus and Hyper Dash. So Saber does more damage, and he goes fast.
Yep. So this stage is going to be the first that you're going to see of the Nightmare Effect system in this game. Who wants to take that one?
Okay, so when you beat a stage in this game, kind of like in Mega Man X1, where, for instance, if you beat Eagle Dude, when you go to Sparkman stage, the lights go out because the ship crashes into the stage. Because he just did Infinity Maginian, now that he's on Turtleoid, the lights get turned out. And it's really fun. It's one of my favorite Nightmare effects.
Yeah.
And it is kind of controllable, because if he just entered a different stage that wasn't highlighted red, there'd be no Nightmare effect on that. And Nightmare effects are only based on the last boss you did. They're not permanent.
This is one of the more annoying ones casually, but it's just fine in the speedrun.
It doesn't really slow anything down in the speedrun, though, so that's why we do this.
It still feels cool, though.
Yeah.
And Hyper Dash makes Pillar Jump much easier.
You have to do a slightly harder variant of it, but it's faster.
I'd still say overall it's much easier than the vanilla.
And Hyper Dash does obviously change the movement quite a bit. The jumps will be a little bit different.
And then not just being a short stage to be able to equip parts, but Rakoa, which is this attack, that's the attack he got from Maginian. It's really nice for taking out the little switches to break the shield on the generator.
Okay.
And then Turtleoid, also known as Blastoise, coming up here. Is we don't use the guard shell glitch on him, but what we do is we get in his front toe and we slash towards him and then face away, and it like messes with his hitbox, and you'll see what we're talking about in a second.
Basically what we think happens is there are like 4 separate squares that kind of like make up an invincibility hitbox on him, and Capcom was really good with it, so they forgot to place them together in one spot, and you can actually just get your saber inside that one spot. X can also do that with like Ray Arrow and
Yeah.
Basically anything where you can just get it to hit in that spot will shred him.
And at this point, he doesn't need any more extra souls. It doesn't really speed up anything else after that. So the 500 he got, he can equip one part, which he did the glitch to equip up to 4. Doesn't need to really grind anything else.
Yeah, I'll have 3 by the time I finish the Mavericks, which is nice, because then I can equip a health item for the gate stages.
Yeah, the third part slot is only going to be available once he has 1,000 souls, and it's like a special part slot for like the higher tier of parts, which he's going to get on this stage. It's called Life Recover, and basically it's instant health refill.
Thankfully, there's a sub-tank and the Reploid that has Life Recover right beside each other, so it's 2 for the price of 1.
How about not explaining the glitch and just let it go?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, we'll just show this off. We're going to do this stage as intended.
Did you leave your Game Shark on, Orsa? Not sure what's going on right
I
now.
don't think so.
Put it in the
Double
hacks
check that.
folder.
So what happened is the spinny slash that you get from Turtleoid and Suizon, makes you invincible while you're using it, but it kind of, if you're standing on solid ground and the ground disappears while you use it, the game just leaves you with the invincibility for Suizon until you use the move again.
Yep, it's useful everywhere. It's going to be used in a lot of the upcoming stages.
Which is really nice that the movement in X6 is so fluid because it lends itself really well to a glitch like this.
Definitely.
Now, Yamark has 1 of 2 patterns. If he goes in the air, it takes a little bit longer. If he goes on the ground, you'll see he might die pretty fast.
Yeah, so like we said earlier, Sheldon was a very slow boss fight.
Yeah.
It's a very skill-based 2 square button presses.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be SDCing these bosses with Guard Shell because, like Plum said, the Saber, every frame of the Saber's animation will deal damage when the Guard Shell hitbox is inside the boss. So you want it to extend as long as possible.
And then that combined with Saber Plus, you do even +1 even more.
Right.
And unlike classic Mega Man, bosses in this game will have variable amounts of health. It's not just like, for instance, in Mega Man 8, they all have 40 health.
And this Maverick is called Metal Shark Player, which is obviously the best translation we could have.
I will also actively defend this stage as the best designed stage in all of Mega Man X.
You're wrong.
It's got a good song.
No, it is objectively fantastic.
So this stage is kind of an auto-scroller. The gimmick is that there's going to be this crusher that's coming up and down. As long as I make the right cycles, it's an auto-scroller. But there are some really tight cycles in this stage that I'll be going for.
And he's going to leave the mech at the top here. And what that does is this first section won't crush him now because it doesn't crush that mech for whatever strange reason.
And then just another Suizon invincibility there.
Right. So this is the hard one.
Yeah, this is a very tough stage casual, too.
I'd say this is probably the second hardest stage in the run.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay, nice.
And there's one more part to this, and he got it.
Okay,
Fast cycles.
awesome.
That is extremely hard.
Okay. So there's one more crusher coming up, but thankfully this one's not that hard. This would be a good time for donations. If you got any?
I've always got loads. I've got one from Satoryu, $50, saying, "Oh boy, X6. Good luck, Orsa, on this wonderful X Series entry. Hope you smash my time from AGDQ 2012. Also, good luck to all the X runners during this block. Jump and shoot to help out MSF."
Thanks, Satoryu.
Can I keep going? You
Sure,
just stuff down?
go for it.
Sure. Kerplop gave us $50 and said, "Waited for the Mega Man X block to donate since he's my childhood gaming hero. Speedrunning them seems like a real nightmare, though, so I'm glad to see someone else can do it. Watch out for those donuts of doom in Blaze Heatnix's stage."
thing. You can jump over that, but the timing for it is kind of tight.
Don't lie, you just wanted the health.
Yeah.
Then coming up is an absolutely epic mid-boss. This guy is...
Never again.
He's Nightmare Press, and he lives up to the name.
Yeah.
So what he's going to do is he can spawn his pole in like 3 different spots. If it's on the left or right, it's bad. In the middle, it's good. But ideally, what you can do that Orsa's not going to do, because it's really stupid on any difficulty other than easy, like it's not RTA feasible at all, you get crushed by it in the middle, and then you need to just kill everything in the middle before the game kills you in like 2 seconds.
It's doable on higher difficulties, but it's ridiculously
It's one of those things you'll get it like once, maybe every 100 attempts. Then Orsa's going to do a really cool strat here. He's going to utilize the pause button.
Yeah, Guard Shell is weirdly programmed. You can't actually activate it without going to the pause menu.
So what he did there with the pause was during the pause,
Get him.
since it kind of like stops the game, he used that to check MSP's pattern.
Yeah. If you wait till he commits to an attack and then pause, it gives you a little bit more time to react to him.
Now, don't worry, you can't do this on every boss.
Yep.
So some of the ones that you really needed to work on, it doesn't work on.
All right, so next up is the aforementioned Blaze Heat Nix stage, and we're actually going to be using X here.
It is my favorite stage in the game.
It's pretty good.
Dunkin' Donuts.
So while a lot of people casually may remember this stage as being really hard, it's completely trivial in the speedrun. The only thing that matters about it is the charge attacks Orsa will be using on this have random patterns for how they strike. So he's always going to be guaranteed to basically get a 2-cycle, but if he does get good luck with like the spread pattern, he can 1-cycle all of them.
Basically,
Except for the 4th donut.
basically guaranteed. Remember I used 5 charged metal anchors on one in the practice room? That was good.
Get to see some good X action here finally.
Yeah.
He gets to return.
So we picked up Metal Anchor from Metal Shark Player, and I'll be using it pretty extensively here because it shreds these donuts pretty hard.
Yeah, and those eagles just fly wherever they want. We call them Storm Eagle.
It's also
They are
worth
Storm
noting
Eagle.
that you're not invincible during that, so Orsa can't get hit by, like, say, a nightmare or projectiles.
Yep. As soon as you get hit, it cancels the animation, so.
And these pillars of fire do, like, 500,000 damage,
Yep.
so.
I grabbed the Reploids for safety, but they give you a variable amount of health, so. Let's hope for the best here.
The stray bullet every
Yeah.
time.
There are a couple backups for these, so this isn't the worst thing in the world.
If he wants to do this all in one life, he basically has to get all the metal anchors at least do most of their damage.
Yeah.
The metal anchor charge, that is. And sometimes the birds just won't go.
The birds are not going right now.
Yeah. So he's going to use another weapon here, the Maginian weapon for X. Actually, we use it a little bit here.
This
We
is
use
one
it
of
just
the-
because he's at the bottom. The donut starts at the bottom, so, and it rises. It just goes straight up.
This is also one of the silliest weapons in the game because it baseline charge does 8 damage to every boss in the game, which is a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So it's one of the better weapons.
The
He's going to
charge-
be using it on the boss
The
here.
Ray Arrow is also nice for that donut because it basically guarantees it's a 1-cycle. Otherwise, there's that lava rising that could get me. And hopefully, I'll be 1-cycling this one. There's a pretty consistent setup for it. Okay,
Almost.
unlucky.
There we go.
All right, but yeah, that was a good stage.
Not bad.
That stage can go very poorly if you're unlucky, so.
There's a lot of backup strats, but almost all of them are way slower.
And I guess it should also be noted that where possible, you don't really want to be using weaknesses in this game, even as X, just because where ground dash, which is Heatnix's weakness, would be doing the exact same amount of damage as a charged ray arrow, ground dash has a really, really long weakness stun animation where this is just super fast and dealing the same amount.
You have to charge
Oh my
it, Orsa.
gosh,
You have to
okay.
charge it. I swear, that's how it works.
All right. Yeah. Also, I don't have ground dash, so I couldn't use it even if I wanted to.
Ground dash is Skarovich's weapon, which is going to be the final Maverick stage.
Okay. Doing good on time.
The routing for this game is really interesting because a lot of it is, there's so many different things to take into account with boss weapons, different parts from Reploids, needing to unlock characters, as well as just actual weaknesses, and there's a lot to route around. It's fun.
The Franker Z coming up here.
Yep.
Little pupper.
Yeah, so this is an ice stage, so there's ice physics everywhere, so you can probably take a good guess what's going to be happening here.
And how I mentioned there's a bunch of different types of dashing in this game. One of my favorite types of dashing is if you do a dash jump and you're holding a direction in the frame before you hit the ground, you let go of the direction, you will get an insane speed boost. And usually that's detrimental to you.
Yes. All right.
Working as intended.
Yes. All right, there's one spot here. Yeah, okay. You just have to let go of forward super early and you're usually fine.
Yeah, if not, you'll get this slip dash I mentioned, which will just throw you into the pit.
Okay, so this is a fun part of the game here.
We can't help that doggo anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, so
help
Tetris
this
is
one.
by far
Okay,
the worst
thank you.
part of Wolfang. You just need to get these to come up on the proper sides because
Yep.
they can just stack on the left.
It's a little bit easier with Zero since you have the double jump. You can go left or right, and either way guarantees you'll get out of here pretty fast.
Yeah, with X you need to get the jumper part, and then when you use Magma Blade, you'll hover in the air for a bit. So you need to have jumper to get super high, then hover in the air for a brief
Nope.
moment with
gonna go
Magma
flying.
Blade. He's not.
No.
No. You can carry the momentum through the boss door if you're timing your dashes correctly, but it's pretty tough.
It's nice because it just like spawns you right next to Wolfang.
And the weapon he got from Heatnix is the Fire Blade. It actually resets his pattern if he uses it. So he's going to check first to see if he gives the good pattern where you can just guard shell glitch him,
Nope.
which he did not. So he's going to fire until he gives him the good pattern. There's the good pattern. That's how we do Heatnix before Wolfang.
Yeah, the old route did Heatnix last, but a semi-recent reroute puts Heatnix before Wolfang, which is really nice.
And then their Japanese route is a little different, but no one really likes to do it, especially in the Western community, just because of things like Wolfang. It's very inconsistent.
Yeah. All right, so next up is Skarovich, which is everybody's favorite stage. Thankfully, it's not too bad in the speed run.
Do you want me to explain
Sure,
it?
go
or-
for it.
Okay. So basically how Skarovich's stage works is there are 8 rooms with 2 variations on each room and 4 teleporters, so 16 rooms total. You don't need to worry about learning how to do any of those because the totem teleporters, if you are in any sort of invincibility frames, you will pass through them and you can get inside of Ice Burst, which is a kind of like platform type object you can place, and that'll give you crush frames, and use the crush frames to just skip all the totems.
Yep. Oh my.
The timing's a little awkward with Falcon armor,
Yeah.
but if you have Hyper Dash on X, it's completely free. The problem is since X
Don't
hasn't
do it,
been
don't do
doing
it.
stages,
Not worth.
X does not have access
Dude.
to the first. Oh. It's really scary because if you skip totems and do them out of order, if Orsa would hit these, he can. Bad
Oh,
things will
no.
happen to the video game.
Yeah. All right. Made
Oh,
it.
that was close.
Yeah,
He
so there's
ran
a-
out of the ice.
Yeah. So you're intended to be like teleporting all around the museum and fighting giant totem poles, but you can skip all that.
The fourth one has a very high chance of crashing if you enter that.
Just realized I didn't have a safety save for that, so good thing we made it. right, so I'm going to be using Rayar here again as well for the exact same reasons I used it on Heatniks.
This time he does have the weakness, though. The weakness is Yammer option, but Yammer option will cause Scaravich to just do whatever.
And that's the 8 Mavs.
That's 8 Mavs.
So at this part, he has the extra like super part that we can equip. And he grabbed, as we said earlier, he grabbed an item called Life Recover that he can start to equip now.
Yep. Once per stage, you can refill your life to full with that. It's going to be really convenient later on.
It's not like the sub tank where you can reuse it over and over again. You can only, like you said, only once per stage, and then you can never use it again.
That's Gate. We're going to see him again later. He's a really
great
nice
boss,
dude.
really best boss.
Oops. Okay, so on to the Gate Fortress. There's 3, debatably 4 stages here, and all of the bosses in them are terrible, so
I'm
look
sorry.
forward to that.
Yeah,
Every
hello?
single one.
Nightmare Mother is fantastic.
Uh-huh.
I think we beat you 2-1.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, so this walls off a lot of people casually. With X, you'll want to be using like Jumper and Ice Burst to stand on as a platform and get high jumps. But with Zero, if you unlock him, which is really easy to do,
Okay.
I'll just double jump up.
He put in the hacks folder.
Yep. Yeah, so someone really likes copy-pasting enemies here at Capcom, but thankfully we don't need to deal with any of them.
And like I said earlier, when he loses control, he loses the invulnerability glitch. So he can't just carry you to the boss.
That's my favorite room in the whole game.
The lava rises up in there, and you can you have to get to the top if you don't make it in time. But he made it in time, so he's all right.
Yep. There's a couple sections here where the lava's just coming up. And slowly goes back down.
And then one thing that's nice about getting health drops, which is random, is Orsa just completely filled up his sub-tank.
All right, so one more lava section before we get to the boss.
Auto squirrel.
Yep.
Is Zero going to feel like taking a swim?
I hope so. I think
got
so.
it.
Oh no, the lava's coming.
Oh, no. Oh.
Oh, okay.
Dang.
All right, so do one of you guys want to explain Nightmare Mother?
Sure. Nightmare Mother is kind of like the classic Mega Man Devil type enemy. There are 2 of them. They have 2 hitboxes. They're going to spin around the stage like 5 times, and then they're going to choose to go somewhere. And what Orsa wants to see is basically just anything that's not double top. He wants one to be on the ground so he can just keep on using Rakukojin, which is the falling metal blade, and it's going to do heckin' damage to this boss.
This is the boss where everybody throws their controller and rage quits at. But me and Plum seem to like it.
Yeah, this is like a really good pattern in any percent, but you don't want to see this when you have Rakukojin.
Yeah, he actually have his weakness in all stages.
And then Orsa did something cool there is, I mentioned earlier that the 3rd slash of the Saber does significantly more damage, so he timed those slashes so that the first 2 would miss, and he'd only hit with the 3rd to deal big boy damage.
This is like the
nice.
best any percent pattern.
This is the god pattern for any percent. Nice.
Another 3rd slash.
And then one other thing to note is this boss is like hovering right at half health right now. When this dips below, they're going to go into fast inner cycles where they're going to be spinning. If you saw when they would like hit a corner, they would stop for a brief moment. Now they're just going to be non-stop moving like this. Fortunately, Suizan locks your vertical position. And then, yeah, Orsa's just able to chain Rakukojin.
Nice.
Okay, that's good.
That boss owns.
Yeah. was what, 4? Yeah, optimal's 2, so I didn't get the best luck there, but that's...
You have to
I
get
played,
good patterns and everything,
yeah,
too.
I played pretty well, so that's
You
all
need
I
the
can really
eye to-
ask for.
You need the eye to come out horizontally for the Rakugo genes, and you need that to happen on both eyes, which it's very unlikely to happen.
Okay, so gate 2, or I guess if you're considering them as separate stages, the first half of this one is pretty short.
Wily stages.
We're about to see the most useful weapon in the entire game, Kyoroga.
Yeah, this is
It's
what you get from
really
Wolfang.
useful.
All right, check this out. Ah, nice.
Just look at that vertical
Goes up.
speed. What a god.
It's useful in, I think, like 2 parts of the run, maybe 3.
Okay, and this part's a little weird. As soon as he gets to this area, he wants to ground dash. Because if he stays in specific spots of this map here, then he'll despawn a top left totem that right there, which he passed by. But he wants this one right here to spawn, so and he takes crush damage to go through, just like an X5.
Got a
Working
quick
as
heal,
intended.
And then off to Hymax. Yeah, it's one of those stages in MMX that's like really, really slow and awful casually, but you can speed it up really fast with speedrun strats.
Hi, Max.
Hi, Max.
Higher max.
All right, so this is a good boss fight.
So in the all stages category, he has, with this route, he has 4 shields that you have to break through, and then he does the last pattern. This bull.
I think you mean Death Ball?
No, I
Hello?
don't.
All right, so once you break 4, he goes to the center. Oops, nice.
You try not to touch his balls either.
Yeah, when you break the balls, they split into 4 and they do really high damage. But it's a little awkward, the timing between dashing horizontally and getting your saber.
You can get too
hits.
many lag frames if you put the saber too much inside of him.
Bye, Max.
Bye, Max.
Bye, Max. And then, like Orsa said, this stage flows into another stage. So if you're to save and you get to this next stage and you reload your game, it would actually start at the beginning of the
Yeah,
stage.
it doesn't even take you back to the menu, so...
That's why there's no stage select at that point.
And this is what I'd consider the hardest stage in the game.
I would probably agree with you on that.
This stage should also be noted that this is different for X and Zero. X's is very fun and fast, and Zero's is this.
It's moderately fast.
Certain crusher stages, if you will.
Shout outs to Hiroga. Good weapon.
And this crusher is not very lenient
Awesome.
either. It'll let
Yeah.
it'll crush you if you're just slightly standing up and you're trying to crouch like that.
Okay. Like that, yeah.
This is the hardest stage in the game.
All right, I'll give that one more try.
It wasn't too far on the stage, luckily.
You got the fast cycle on Heatnix though, which is sick.
I like that wall thing. I should do that more often.
Yeah. I got the hard part of the fast cycle here, too. Just
Trying to get the fast cycles on this takes a lot of practice to do.
Okay, there we go. That was good.
And then he equips Yamar option here, which are those 3 dragonflies.
You can
And for
actually
the
like
birds.
get into the next pit over, but it's entirely dependent on if Yamar option wants to
Yeah.
cooperate. It's kind of like Water Shield from Mega Man 10, where it's not a solid barrier and
All
things
right.
can pass through. And here's some Inti creates a level design right here.
Everyone's favorite boss coming up here.
Yep.
So he's going to do the guard cell glitch, not on the boss itself, but on the balls it throws. And he's going to, ideally in all stages, there's a glitch. He can get the Insuazon glitch, but only if he gets the blue ball. So he's going to want the blue balls to come out.
Yep. So hopefully I'll be a little lucky here.
The other balls that he gets, he'll just reflect them back for damage. That's the only way to damage gate. And that's why we call him RNG gate.
Yeah,
So you
this
just
guy
have to
can
wait for him to throw them.
waste literal minutes. We're just dreaming of using Shoenzan.
Yeah.
Also, it should be noted that Zero has a really high knockback, and if Ursa gets hit like once, there's a good chance he's going in that pit.
It's okay, I just won't get hit.
Blue ball?
Yeah,
Hopefully another blue ball comes out.
I didn't have a good setup on that.
The thing he really wants in Suizan Invincibility for is how Gate can move to your location. If you're just standing on top of Gate with Suizan Invincibility, Gate's move actions will just basically be standing in place.
Oh my gosh.
That was pretty scary.
Okay.
What an absolutely based platform.
And the positioning is super, super important where he jumps because he's going to throw the ball where he's at that point. So
Yeah.
he wants to bait one of the balls to a very specific position and then slash it at a very specific position.
Yeah, you also want to make sure you're dropping Gate in good locations so he's not slashing the platform below him like he did for me the first time. This is about what I was expecting.
This is a standard Gate right here.
Yeah. Maybe a little
Just gotta
worse than
wait it out.
standard.
Maybe.
Gate is my favorite boss in this game.
All right, nothing is wrong. Don't worry. Don't worry about a thing.
He's just trying to make it interesting for
Yeah.
you guys. That was it.
How fun is it if Gate doesn't get to fight back?
Did you use, yeah, you used the life. Since this is technically one stage, the life recover he used before high max, it's not back.
Yep. So I have to not get hit again, which means I'm going to play this pretty safe. Come on, Gate. All right, there we go. Okay.
I like his stance that he's in right there.
Yeah.
Working as intended.
That was fine. All right, so that'll take us into the refights here.
That basically describes most of the bosses in this game. They're fine.
I'm okay with this run.
Yeah, I am too.
It's not bad.
Hey, man, this time was solid.
All right, so there's a very, very short stage before the refights, and then we'll be getting into that. Why do I do the refight order I do?
That's a really good question.
How about you explain it since only you know?
Absolutely. So I start at the bottom from Maginian. Maginian is the hardest refight. He's the one who will damage you the most. And then I just work my way to the top because that's where the teleporter is going to spawn.
I disagree with this refight order because I think you should start from the top.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's agree to disagree.
Because here's the thing right now. You have an empty sub-tank, but
That's
after
true.
Yamark, you could refill your sub-tank very easily.
That's true.
But right now, since Ursa, the health spawns at the very top of this, Ursa's not going to be able to quickly go up to fill up his sub-tank, but he shouldn't really need it. It's more of a thing for X,
I should
not
be
Zero.
okay, yeah.
And if he wants to take damage, he would preferably take it from the bubbles.
Yeah.
Because they do less.
That was
But
good.
he doesn't need that. That was a really good fight.
Yep.
And now we're going to see what Shield Sheldon looks like when he's fought quickly.
Yeah, most of these bosses are going to be the same. The only one that's going to change are Scaravich and Heatnix because I did not fight those guys with Zero. Everything else is going to get guard shelled.
This one's a little different now.
Since you SDC'd the first fight.
You use his own shield against him. So you'll see comparatively how faster it is compared to the SDC.
Oops.
And then if you want to try this at home, it really is as simple as just walk up to the boss with guard shell and press one button.
There's nothing else going on. You just got to get the positioning right. That's all there is. All right, so I'm a little low on health, so I'm going to do a bit of a safer strat here instead of running into Turtleoid.
Blastoise.
Also, can we talk about how the turtle boss doesn't hide in his shell while Shield Sheldon does?
Very nice.
Yeah, so Sensui zoning through Turtleoid makes it so that you're taking hits off of the missiles, not off of Turtleoid, so that saves some health.
Yeah, and the other way, which is a little slower, is you can break the shell. He can break his shell, and then you can hit him from there.
And there's going to be a really cool strat on this refight where Orsa's going to be dealing about 75% of the boss's health in a single hit. He's got a neat setup for it. They did a bit more. So what happened there is when Scaravich starts pushing his poop, he has this brief period of time where he will not have any invincibility frames. And like Crack Attack mentioned earlier, that your Z-Buster does like infinite damage, your position during that period of time will determine how much damage you do to Scaravich, and you can one-shot him.
I was a fair bit late, but you did see it a little bit. I took about a quarter off.
Yeah, it is possible to one-cycle him in that way.
I don't actually think it's possible to do with the setup I do. I think you have to
the setup
just go
wastes a
for
bit
it.
too much time.
Yeah.
And then Metal Shark is more or less the same boss.
Yep.
It's a shame the bosses in this game die so quickly because they actually do have some really interesting patterns.
Definitely.
X5 is kind of similar where the boss patterns are very intricate, but the difference in that game is bosses get like 10 million health, so you actually get to see the fights.
Yep. So Heatnix is a big jerk. I don't have a good way of dealing damage to Heatnix because he gets some pretty big iframes after almost everything. I'm going to be using Sensuizan, which is the best of a bad situation.
And it is interesting that with ground dash on this guy, he'll go into like weakness stun. And he does go into like a weakness stun here, but it's like the same period of time as normal iframes.
Here he goes.
No, that's fun.
Yeah, so I'm just
You get
using
a really bad pattern here.
I'm using this just for the iframes. That's about it.
At least you could hear this jamming boss theme. And what Orsa did at the end is we call that Lava Swim. If you're feeling really risky, you can do pretty much the whole fight every time he dives, chase him down into the lava. But if you take a hit off of the lava instead of Heatnix, you're losing like half your health.
Yeah. So the last two, Wolfang and Yamark, are identical to how they were in the original fight. So if you have time for donations, this would be a really good one.
Boy, I sure do. I have a donation of $10 from Mom and Dad 94 saying, "Proud of you, son. Go get 'em. You're our mega boy. Love you."
Oh my god. I didn't even tell them about this. Thanks, guys.
They'll find you on the internet.
I guess so.
Orbform gave us $50 and said, "Mega Man X6 has the best OST ever. Blaze Heatnix hype."
That guy has good taste.
Ardell also has good taste. For $50, he says, "Mega Man X is such an amazing series. Fantastic music and dashes for days. Put this towards killing the animals." ZeroX4 gave us $75.55, saying, "Third time watching a GDQ event live, and I had to donate during the Mega Man block. Can't wait to see my favorite series get absolutely dominated. Good luck to all the runners." Pepsi Man gave us $25, saying, "Mega Man X is one of my favorite series of all time, and X6 is my favorite. Keep up the great work."
All right, so we're all done with the refights. That just leaves Sigma and Final Sigma.
Big Sig.
There's a very short stage here that I'll be mostly damage boosting through. Okay.
Are you going to go for it since you equipped it?
No.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, there are two things you can do. One of them is not worth it, so thankfully he's not doing it. So this guy is weak to Z-Buster and also Guard Shell, like pretty much every other boss in the game, but using Guard Shell is obnoxious.
Yeah, so this is Hobo Sigma. He's a nice guy. Hopefully.
The ideal Hobo Sigma
Should've
pattern is he
gone
doesn't do
for it.
anything.
He does get harder than that.
If Hobo Sigma decides to attack you, things get hectic, but
Yeah.
now we've got Hex Sigma.
Hex Sigma, yeah.
And
Shoutouts to Hex Sigma. Every time Hobo Sigma takes damage, he has a chance to flail back, and if he flails back, he'll start doing attacks, and it gets really bad really fast.
Fortunately, this boss was kind enough to spawn platforms to let you get in Suizan
Breakable
invincibility.
platforms at that, yeah. So time is coming up really soon. As soon as this guy's health reaches 0, which will happen pretty quickly after he opens his mouth, that's time.
Oh, there's top heads are in the way there.
Oh gosh.
Please use it. No.
Oh my. Okay.
He likes to
that,
troll. That's
that
how
was
Sigma
unfortunate.
is.
Yeah.
Imagine getting hecked by Hex Sigma.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's give that another shot, shall we?
Maybe you guys will get to see
An
Hobo
actual
Sigma do an
attack.
attack. We promise this is a real boss.
Yeah. He doesn't just walk.
Watch him do the same pattern.
Okay. There's an actual attack.
So they'll throw some balls at you. And then some of the other things he can do is he can throw like these blades at you, which he was just about to do.
He was gonna start, but yeah.
The blades are very annoying because they'll block your shots, and it's kind of like a game of ping pong where you keep pushing it back when
You
you
have
hit
to
it.
decide if you want to damage race them or if you want to try to dodge them.
Yep.
So Orsa just showed off what fighting Hex Sigma's like casually, but now
Yeah.
Orsa remembered he has Suizan invincibility. So
Hopefully, yeah.
He just felt bad for all the casual players out there, so he.
it was kind of unfortunate. What happened last time is the platform he needed to break just walked right into Sigma's mouth
Yeah.
because
Well, I even need the invincibility.
you have
I
a life
will.
recover.
You can get it. You can get
Okay.
it.
All right, and time.
Let's show the power of friendship.
Yeah.
You nerds.
Don't be mean. All right, so that was Mega Man X6. This is a really fun speed game. I highly recommend it to anyone. It's pretty easy to pick up. The hard strats are not necessary, but if you want to go for a good time, there's lots of depth. So shout outs to everyone who runs X6. Fujiyama, Chokochu, 8-Bit is great, Seitoryu, these guys. Did I miss anyone?
That's about it.
All right, awesome.
Maybe.
Yeah, so even if you don't like this game casually, speedrun
Yeah,
might
definitely
change your
look into
minds.
speedrunning it. It's really fun. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the X Block too. Thanks again.